settings.
That was better. It's just
You never know.
Thank you guys so much.
No, it's not wrong.
Fantastic. Beautiful, amazing. It's my first time.
La bachata se hizo primero en Puerto Rico y la interpretación de la reportera en oro de la Palencia. ¿Cómo?
Y cuenta. Everybody, and welcome back to a new live episode of El Koki Otaku. Tonight, the house it's not big enough with so many great talents. I mean, everybody's great talents in the voice acting we interviewed so far, but damn, tonight kind of never with so much talent together tonight. So tonight, in a special live, we welcome Brina, Palencia, Giovannie Cruz, Antonio Bowling. Guys, thank you so much for joining this special episode. We've never done it before, to be honest.
Ah,
It's pretty exciting.
I would have known had we done this before.
Yeah.
I think I'd remember if we did.
So you got three people that just like despise each other, though. So this is going to be interesting.
Which this is the best formula for disaster, which always will enjoy the drama. Before we start, guys, let me ask you, how you guys are doing so far on workload? Because we just start a new season of the anime. Are you guys like looking forward for all the new anime they're going to be dubbed within the next weeks? Because new season, new work, a lot of anime coming to the shows.
Yeah. There's another. The new season of Black Butler is probably what I'm the most excited about.
yeah.
Why?
That's
Are
on my
you a big
list
part?
too.
Yeah, I don't have
are
anything to do
you,
with it.
Is there something? Do you have something? To do
I'm just a fan.
I mean, go ahead, Anthony.
I'm sorry. Excuse me. I was going to say I always get excited whenever it's new season because that's like, work season. That's we have to go get our jobs
Yeah.
every season.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we have to re-audition for everything every season.
Yeah, it's always nice to have a break, all over the holidays. But like as an actor, you're dying for new seasons to start. Like, be it spring anime season, pilot season, whatever. It's just like, oh my god, can we start auditioning again, please? Or I won't be able to feed my children.
Oh my god! All right,
Wow. Things are getting serious now, guys. We need to raise money
dire.
right now.
Dire.
We just
You called the number.
How do you call all these fundraising tools? On me. Oh, so by the way, we're on
me.
I can tell Giovanni having fun right now with Apothecary Diaries because damn, this season you have a lot of action on this new season.
It's so fun. Yeah. Apothecary Diaries is one of my favorite shows. It's one of the favorite shows I've ever been on. It's one of the only animes I'm watching right now. I'm only watching like a handful. And I definitely am on I'm watching ahead in the J because I love it so much. And then I'm rewatching it when the English dub drops. So yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite shows right now. I didn't know what I was getting into when I got into it. Half the time, listen, to be honest with you, Onyx, I'm a horrible auditioner. I'm not good at auditioning for anime. I'm good at auditioning for other stuff like film and TV.
I was gonna
but
say, I'm
not
like,
good
wait,
at
I've seen you audition before. What are you talking
for
about?
film and TV, but not for anime. And
I
because
haven't heard.
it's like a whole nother animal, and I'm not good at. And I don't have a setup, and I literally do it in my car, in my closet, or in my living room. So it's not like a beautiful sounding audition, whatever. But and so just to get invited, I'm like, yay, somebody likes me.
I feel the same way, not about you, but about my auditions. I feel the same way about your auditions.
Oh, but
I hate auditioning.
But you guys were on the inside, though. You guys know the stuff. You and Brina both know the stuff. I don't know the stuff.
So I have to be honest at the moment, though. Since, I was basically just putting on a character earlier. Since having my child, I have not actually actively pursued stuff. So I haven't auditioned. I'm so out of the game, guys. I'm so out of the game. Because it's like I care about my child and I like being around him, and I'm lucky enough to get to do that a lot. But yeah,
I'm lucky enough to get cast without auditioning. And,
I'm an offer only. I'm in offer only mode now. I'm kind of OG famous.
And this is
anime
how we're
famous
helping people. Yeah. So if you want a success in this field, you have to be Brina.
Basically,
succeed. It's all
you have to have.
I went many years not doing anything because
by choice,
and then suddenly all of the anime that I did in the aughts decided to come back, and it was like, wait, what is happening? Why am I here every day? This isn't what I
don't want it to.
Intended.
I want one a year.
I thought I retired.
I thought I wasn't doing this anymore.
The internet said I retired. Is that true?
I think I probably said I retired at some point. Probably.
I'm pretty sure you told me you retired.
Yeah.
At some point.
Yeah.
But yes, Onis, obviously we have a very long history. Both Anthony and Brina have cast me in projects, which I had nothing. I had no inclination about anything. Anthony cast me as that dominatrix character that I love so much.
What?
Which one?
And was it Fruit of Evolution? No, it wasn't that one. It was it was one of those guild ones. God, there's so many. It was one of the guild ones.
One of the in another world, and now I'm in a guild.
Yeah,
that's one of those. And
Campfire
Eris. No, Eris. Eris was it wasn't Campfire Cooking. It was, oh my god, see, clearly we work so much and often.
We're all just so talented. We can't keep track of that.
We just can't keep track of our work. Yeah. But it was that dominant, and it was one of those things where you're like, are you okay with this? Because I just kind of cast you in it. Okay, have fun.
I just crashed my computer, sorry.
Oh. Looking for Giovannie Dominatrix. He crashed his computer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's an image somewhere in the world.
Those are the best. Like when you hear, because I know that as when I was directing, that was the way how you would like meet new people and do like old school style, where it's like, I don't know this person, I'd like to work with them, which I think is one of the best ways to work, when it's like, hi, we don't know each other, but we're going to do something that we need to like trust each other on. we need to work together. So it's a good way to like instantly kind of get in and, kind of really dive in and see like who you're working with and how. Oh, now we got the music. Hey, what's up? Saludos, everyone. We're going to bring it down a little bit. Bad Bunny's going to be playing later.
Oh no, that would be copyright. I would love to, but no, it will be so copyright. I have the privilege. Do you guys remember the name of the music house, La Casa Disquera from Bad Bunny? What's called?
What, Bad Bunny's music house?
Yeah, music house. I forgot there.
Oh, like his
yeah, it's not flow music.
Label.
Yeah, it's not flow music. One of those names.
I bet I could Google it.
Yeah, the deal is I got the privilege to have a video takedown from them. I'm like, wait, what? Because no, can't Elios. No, you know, got it. That's a song. So I make Rimas. Yeah, Rimas. So I have a reference early when I started this project, and but when Bad Bunny used anime for Yonaguni, I have the reference. Years later, a lot of likes and views to get a takedown notification, like just a copyright, nothing bad. I'm like, wait, what happened here? I say like, request submitted by Rima. I'm like, by Rima. Oh yo, this is Bad Bunny people. I'm like, such a privilege, and you gotta take that from Bad Bunny people.
Heck
It's
yeah.
so awesome. Well, yeah, I enjoy that takedown. But talking about Bad Bunny's bilingual, I mean, today episode's about bilingual. We all come from background from multilingual family, surrounding, all different backgrounds. So, by the way, guys, we welcome everybody to drop your comment, reaction, any question for our guest tonight. In Spanish or English or Spanglish, more than welcome to. Okay, many people believe that to be a voice actor, you need to speak only one language. Be in case of North America, be only English speaker. How true is that? And there's any pro or you have any benefit of speaking multi-language, or there's a cons of speaking multi-language? And also based on your experience.
Oh yeah, you definitely want to be able to speak multiple languages. The only thing that's going to hold you back is an accent. So if you are trying to get into English voice acting and you have a Spanish accent, it's going to be real hard. But like, even still, you probably, if you can find the right project for you and you work hard enough, you'd still probably be able to get gigs. But like, yeah, being bilingual or multilingual is like for sure an added bonus.
Yeah, and if you can.
Sorry,
I was gonna say, if you can, so to Brina's point, if you can smooth out your accent in any language, like even if, for instance, we're speaking, I believe Caitlin did an anime set in Spain several years ago, and she had some of us that speak Spanish to be on that, and even doing Walla, so that Walla is like the background.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
The background voices, and so we were doing Walla voices in Spanish, and so it even helps if any language that you're speaking, if you can smooth out the accent as much as possible. Now it's difficult, I think, because Americans, Caitlin's not one of them, but most Americans think that that everyone sounds like somebody from Univision. Or like the news anchors from Univision, and so that they're looking for that kind of accent. But obviously the Puerto Rican accent doesn't sound like that, right? I tell people that the Puerto Rican accent is akin to Spanish as the Irish accent is to English.
That's a really good way to put it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to put it.
It's a different dialect even, you know what I mean? And so if people are clear on what part,
what region they're going
what region they want, then it's a lot easier to kind of do a little homework on that and hone in. But for the most part, if you can sound like a Colombian or an Argentinian or somebody from Mexico City, you're okay. But if you're from like Puerto Rico and you've got like, si está hablando como así, hombre, no hay problema, va a ser problema, okay, porque ellos no quieren que tú suenas así. Quieren que suenas como alguien que puede leer el enciclopedia. Smooth and clean and all of that. Yeah.
But Spanish is a different monster because this is personal viewpoint so far, which is my viewpoint. I'm hearing lately that many industry radio, they're criticizing what they call the neutral Spanish, because it makes it to a point that they're like, hey, Spanish neutral is no longer neutral, it's Mexico. And that conversation every year has been different. Like, you need to speak this way, then it's like just speak clearly, and that definition of Spanish neutral is evolving, I will say, every year at this point.
Well, yeah, I feel like it has to be, because it's like, I feel like an American accent neutral is much easier to do than a neutral Spanish accent, because it's literally like, well, what country are you talking about? Like the amount of countries that fall into that is like pretty aggressive, because it's like, I mean, obviously we have like England and Ireland and Australia and New Zealand, but that's, I mean, am I missing any?
No, that was it. Those are all of them.
It.
Well, but then there are all the European countries that do ESL, but it's required for them to speak in English for their schooling or whatever, like Germans, Scandinavians,
Right. Yeah.
right? Like they all ESL, and so they all speak English, but they're speaking English through the lens of their accent.
With a bit of an accent, yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, but like to try to like name off every Central American and South American country plus Spain is just like that's a lot. Like, so what? Yeah, it's like it's basically, to me that just says like who has the most power in media is which country has the most power in media at the moment, and that's like who gets to decide what neutral is or whatever.
Well, I think it's
Right.
also the responsibility where, you know, as an actor, we're trying to ask, what can we do? And then going all the way up the ladder, it just means, you know, we need more visibility and more POC information. We need more input at the higher levels, so that way you're not just getting, you know, by and large right now, a lot of the you know, companies and things, they are outside of, you know, those purviews. We get a lot of like very same, where it's like, oh, the same people are making decisions. So the same people are going to say, that accent is what sounds acceptable. That's the normal one. And so
The normal one, yeah.
yeah, or like, you know, how they just when they released In the Heights, and a bunch of Puerto Rican people, even though this is a movie set to celebrate and do that, it's still like not representing us. There are light and dark skinned Puerto Ricans. There are this. So even at other levels, when you're trying to do it right, I think that's where you need just kind of the most input to look around and say, well, what are we doing here? Is it going to serve that? Like, is what I have going to serve this project? Or is it more just a spotlight to be like, look, we have diversity. Look at how diverse it is, but it's Hollywood diversity, or it's produced, you know?
But I do think that we've come a long way in representation as far as Latinos in Hollywood. And so I won't crap on that, you know, but yeah, I think, are we backsliding? I'm not sure, but I think that, that it is important to recognize that the people with the money are the ones that are in charge, and they're not always aware. They're the ones making the choices, and they're not always aware. And you know, just having that conversation, like I voice, oh, I'm not supposed to say that. There's a character in a major franchise that I voice who has a Latino accent. And I asked when I went into the session, I was like, where is she from? And the guys on the other end were like, we're not sure. She's just Latina. And I was like, great, cool. That's very helpful.
You're like, we're going to make her Puerto Riqueña. This is what we're going to do.
You get what you get.
She sounds like a Caribbean, like Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean-ish side. Like, I don't know. It's like a mix between like the Mexican side of the Caribbean side of Mexico and like the Caribbean archipelago. I don't know. We don't know where she's from. Is all, you know, and they couldn't tell me where she was from either. But it's fine, you know, it's fine. The fact that I even asked that question, I think, is enough for them to be like, oh, maybe that's something we should consider.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know?
Yeah. No, and you're right. It is being able to ask that question, but don't make it so uncomfortable, but that then they suddenly don't ever want to put a like Latin character in. You know what I mean? It's like, be like, yeah, you did a great job. Also, did you think about this? Like, maybe next time, let's think about it.
I have a question from one of our audience. It's a good question from KL. Kira Sinclair. If I say mispronounce your name, apologies. But I'm going to try Kira Sinclair?
I think it's Kira. That's my guess.
Sorry, Kira.
I would guess Kira too. Yeah.
How do you see the future of bilingual voice acting evolving in anime and gaming industry, especially with growing global demand?
I don't know.
That one's really hard. It's hard to tell because again, it starts at the game makers and the people the people writing and creating the content.
Yeah, like the game devs.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, it's a lot easier if there is a Latino person on the creative team, because they can be like, oh, I envision someone like my cousin, or I envision someone like my friend, or I envision someone like, right? And then they can write authentically to that. until we have more of that representation, I'm not sure that
Yeah.
we're gonna get a lot of representation in gaming that's specific to Latinos without it being some kind of a stereotype.
Yeah. I think the other thing that makes it hard for me to answer that question is that it's hard to know, like, and not to be like a major downer, but like with AI, it's kind of hard to know where any of it's going, like bilingual or not. Like I'm, we're in a real crossroads right now, as far as like where the industry is headed, depending on how the strike pans out and all those things.
I think it's a really interesting time right now too, because what I've been noticing, which is wonderful, like anything with the arts, anytime that the arts kind of get squeezed a little bit, people start to grow out in new and different directions. So I know that a lot of voice actors, a lot of my friends that I'm working with, even with these kind of opportunities that we're looking at, whether they're, other studios, bilingual or whatever, what we have available right here, it's just where am I going with this? I'm sorry, I got lost in my own sauce.
It seems like what you're saying is that when everybody's being squished, innovation kind of starts to occur.
Thank you. Yeah. That innovation I see going in different directions, to where even if there is something that happens where they say, yeah, we can record Anthony and AI turns it into different languages, where are people going to go for that authentic human performance and human experience that everyone's trying to crowdsource? I think that's why, like, a movie like Encanto or Coco, when you think of like something where it's like, that's a family, that's just a story, that's heart, that's not about like, here's a story of an ethnic, there's no like, let's put a spotlight. It's like, hey, here's a family. And I think that's the authentic experience that we're bringing out. It's that one unique thing that we can say, yeah, this is what everyone can, kind of the universal experience that we all have. And I think that they're pulling that, which is really nice. So I think that's where the innovation needs to go, is more towards building those stories, so that way we're not looking for them. There's now like an embarrassment of choices for us now, so we're like, oh, there's the landscape is so much bigger. So that's what I would hope, is that by us doing this, it's inspiring more people to kind of grow outside of these, so that way you're creating these areas where you can experiment, you can.
I do think that like there is gonna, like, I do think a lot of jobs are gonna go away, which sucks, but like you said, it does lead to innovation is the hope. And I think that people are really going to become super hungry for that authenticity of actual humans sounding like humans.
Yeah.
Like it's just not a thing that can ever be replaced. Like I truly feel acting as a calling, and I think it's one of my friends actually said it really well recently, Leah Clark. She said, it's our job as actors to feel the emotions that other people are afraid to feel. And it's like, we give people permission to grieve. We give people permission to like explore their anxiety, explore anything, you know what I mean? In a safe way. And it's part of like, acting is vital to the human experience, in my opinion. And so regardless of if that's going to end up being in voice acting or on camera or on stage or whatever, like in any way that I can provide that experience for people, I'm going to try to do it. And I think that you two feel the same way, because it's not, all three of us don't just do voice acting. Like we've done stage work, we've done film stuff, we've done a lot of different waves, like where people that are always seeking a way to entertain and to bring people on a journey and to storytell in the form of acting. So it's like, that's never going away, and that's what I keep telling myself. But I do think it's going to take a lot of extra creativity to figure out how it's going to continue,
Yeah.
I thought about if touching that theme about the AI, and don't feel like downplaying the effort of the industry. I'm about to say on AI. I'm one of those few people that stay the same. That I'm positive that AI will not do what people are thinking. AI is a great tool.
Yeah.
Tool, not replacer. And that's a key word because people are like, "Want to take your job?" Like, no, because first to be AI from the engineering experience, the master's degree, one of the most difficult challenges in engineering is to understand what the client needs, what they're asking for. They're asking for a super spaceship, or you're asking for a paper plane. And AI is very close to that. AI can do a lot of stuff, but it will not do what you need because you need to learn how to tell the tool. And the same happening with the art. And there was a big boom of AI right now. We saw social media how it's being crazy, and right now Studio Ghibli, we know what's going on with the Studio Ghibli AI. But at the same time, I feel it is a culture. It's getting sick of AI. Like, I'm one of those person that when I see AI in art, I can't. Now I see artists who use AI to get inspiration, and then with their inspiration, then they use their hand. I respect that, but just AI, I think to the convention as a poster, and I feel like the same is happening with the voice acting industry. Like Mexico, I haven't seen any industry so aggressive from the fan defending voice acting. Every time any company bring any AI project, you see how it gets shut down, not by the voice actor, by the fans. In all aspects. So
Yeah, well, people aren't stupid, right? It's the same way we can, like 15 years ago when everybody was auto-tuning everything. And it was like, oh, what is this sound? It's odd, but it's interesting. And so people are being creative with auto-tune. But then it became people auto-tuning for the sake of auto-tuning because they couldn't actually sing very well or hold a tune very well. And, you know, you'd watch these live singing competitions where people are being live auto-tuned. And then you're just like, it immediately turns me off.
Yeah.
Like immediately turns me off because I'm like, no, they're not singing. Why? No, I'm not. I don't want to listen to this record where everything on this record is auto-tuned. Absolutely not. It's literally the first thing that I do when I listen to a new album or a new record. If I can find any indication of auto-tune, like overuse of auto-tune. Now, granted, we might melodine like a note or something like that.
Sure,
but
just like a little sparkle.
Like a little. But if it's like overused, right? If it's where I can notice it, I'm you know, professionally trained musician. If I can notice it, I'm immediately out. I'm immediately turned off. And unless it's used as a tool. A creative tool, right? Unless it's
like
used.
FKA Twigs does that a lot. Like she has really cool stuff that she'll do with like altering her voice or whatever, but it's an artistic choice. It's not like it's not like
it's a paintbrush. It's not the palette.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think AI can be the same way. I think you're right, Onyx. Like I don't want to like totally disparage AI. I mean, I have ChatGPT. There's amazing things that you can use it for. I've used it to help me with like doctor's appointments and that kind of stuff, and like that can be super helpful. Like it has a purpose, and I think we should utilize it. It'd be silly to not utilize the technology in any way, but like, you know, it should, like you said, it should be a tool. It's a tool. It's not a replacement.
Also, people should continue raising their voice because let's be also honest in reality. There's how do they call it politically? There's a group that they want to use AI to replace people. That's why I'm like, I don't want to downplay the voice of people fighting against, because if I see A, B need to exist. Otherwise, it's not to work. So I've lost 2 roles already this year because of asking for AI protections and not getting them. So like,
wow,
you know?
Yeah, wow.
Which I'm glad that you know, when you are passionate about what you do and to advance the industry, that's why discussions like this are so important, because it's not the short game. No one wants to play a short game where it's like, I'm making my money today. I'm doing. No, we love to do this. Like Brina was saying, it's a calling, and you don't just drop your calling. You find ways to help others. to do it, and especially now. And this is
Yeah, none of
why-
us know how to work in an office.
I
We don't know
can't.
how to do that.
Look
Are
at I
you
haven't taken
insane?
down my
I do.
Christmas decorations. How dare you?
I
How
do.
dare?
I do. But you know what? When I did work in an office, I experienced something called hypostress, which is the opposite of hyperstress, which is what most people are familiar with. And I experienced so much hypostress, which is to say I was mentally mentally ill. Like I was like
Instability.
sad and like depressed, and like I was just so sad and depressed all the time because I wasn't being challenged.
That's what I mean. Yes, of course. I mean, I've worked in an office too, but I'm terrible at it.
I
Not good
wasn't
at
bad at it. I just didn't find it challenging, and it made me really, really sad.
Yeah.
You
Really,
get
really sad.
complacent, yeah.
Yeah, it just
Really
made me so
sad.
sad.
Yeah.
But you know, Brina,
I would just
commend
sleep
you
under my
for
desk.
saying that.
Is what I did.
But I commend you. Like my manager sent me a job to train an AI model, and I was like, absolutely not, absolutely not. It's not worth
Good.
it to me.
Yeah.
It's not. But the thing is, it takes people. So here's what I would say to those young people who are people who are young in their anime or voiceover careers in general. Don't sell yourself short for money. It's
Yeah.
not worth it. It will come back to bite you in the butt.
It will.
So like people who are just starting that are like, oh yeah, I'll take that job. Don't. It'll bite you in the butt later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Think about the long game. Don't be so desperate that that you're giving yourself up. You're selling yourself
Personal-
short.
Personal experience that apply to all industry, all career. I can tell you a
Mhm.
story which I can't tell here, but yeah, all careers. Crosswise, trust me, guys. Don't undersell yourself because that's going to bite you for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
It's
you
gonna-
don't want to be known as the person who's the cheap go-to. Like, it's not a good place to be.
Yeah, and it might serve you for a minute, but man, it'll keep you blocked.
Yeah.
It'll kind of keep it because it, you know, I mean, it keeps a roof. It keeps a roof over you, but it keeps a roof over you. It's hard to break through that roof when
Yeah,
you've
and
got somewhere to
producers
go.
will I've heard of casting rooms where they'll be like, well, no, they're the low budget version. Like they're like, no, they're low budget.
Oof.
Like we want someone who's
Oof.
high budget. You know what I mean? Like, because it's people who always are willing to work for anything and are willing to like, I'll just take a job. Sure. Yeah, of course. Whatever you say. And they're like, no, they're really cool. Maybe we can use them in a smaller character. We don't want them as a lead
Mhm.
because they're low budget.
Because they'll do anything, and it kind of like diminishes the product.
Yeah, because and it's like people who are wildly talented that this has been said about, but it's like they just aren't. They don't respect them because they don't respect themselves, and so they're just kind of like, well, they must not be that good.
Yeah, as my husband says, sucks to suck.
I mean that's another thing. I think without getting too much on a soapbox, I think if people are asking how can we help out, how can we do more, invest in yourself. Whether when you're saying, you know, can I do this bilingual? Do I have an accent? Cool, go get coaching. Go, you know, improve anything that you can in your art, because there are people like that who will go with nothing and say, hi, I'm here, ready to go. And sometimes they'll let you in the door. And then when you're there, you're like, uh-oh, I wasn't expecting to get this far. And then, yeah, where's your career? So once again, set yourself up for the long game here.
Yeah.
Bringing back the bilingual, I have a question from Kira Sinclair. Do you find that certain emotion or expression are easier to convey in one language over the other? And why? And you have any experience to share, please? Share it.
That's such a good question.
Brina was an opera singer once. She can
So were
answer
you.
that. But when we were singing, we had to learn, God, what every language: French,
Yeah.
Italian, German. I think I sang in Chinese. I sang in Czech. I sang in so many different languages.
Yeah.
And speaking, and you know, as a speaker, here's what I will say. I don't know if I can answer that question eloquently, but here's what I will say. Speaking in different languages, it does change, or it activates different parts of your brain.
Yeah.
And we know this through neuroscience. Neuroscience is my jam. But it does activate different parts of your brain, and it also can help you see the world differently. Like, for instance, we know that in the native Alaskan language, there's like 500 words for snow, right? And it's like a bunch of different types of snow, and they're very specific. And language like creates language is the precursor to, or emotion is the precursor to language, which then feeds into emotion, right? Yeah. And so I think like if you are aware that there's a concept that exists in one language that doesn't exist in a different language, then it is easier for you to connect to a variety of complex emotions. But I don't know that it's easier.
I will say, as far as like songwriting and like at least songs that I hear, to me, I think that Spanish love songs hit way better than English.
Oh, like Despacito?
No.
That's a Spanish love song, right?
Not like
a Spanish love song, right? Like
I mean,
Despacito?
that's also good, but no, like Residente. No, it was Calle 13 when he was in Calle 13. They did. Was it Calle 13 or was it just Residente by himself? Whatever.
But that's pretty good too.
But the song, the La luna sale a caminar siguiendo tus pupilas. La noche brilla original después que tú la miras. Ya nadie sabe ser feliz a costa del despojo. Gracias a ti y a tus ojos. Like that fucking song, when I hear that, like my whole body aches with like just love, like just deep, like real love, like in a way that I can't name an English song that makes me feel the same way.
But I think that's also like
Ojos color sol, yeah, that's it. Calle 13, yeah.
I think it's also one of those it's poetry in different languages.
Yeah.
Poetry in different languages and yeah. Sometimes it's easier to yeah.
My wife and I were watching there's a new Zorro series on one of the streaming services. I can't remember which one, but my wife and I used to watch the old school Disney one, and this new one is completely in Spanish. And so I was like, I want to watch this because they're playing it. It's like it is everything I wanted. It is like a telenovela of Zorro, but they have the cast so diverse that there are French speakers in the town, and to hear Spanish and French together was something that I didn't know I needed to hear when they are talking. But when you hear like the love languages, that to me is what gets my brain. I'm very audio when it comes to languages and things like that. So hearing them be like, sí, ¿cómo estás, monsieur? Like it was like, ¿cómo estás, monsieur? Like Monsieur de la Vega. Like, Monsieur de la Vega. Like, just like hearing it, it's like creamy peanut butter. Just like, oh yes, all these languages just mixing. And I think that right there is something that I would love to see more of, because a lot of us here, we think, I want to hear English and another language. I want to hear you be bilingual as English and this, whatever. But to hear the other languages play with each other, I think it's something that, I don't get to see a lot on TV, so many times.
I also like, because that also speaks to the fact of like how much there was a big French influence historically in Latin America. And like, I remember going to see a one-woman show when my mom was living in Ecuador. And I wish I remember this woman's name, but she was incredible. She was so good. And she basically just did a one-woman show of the history of Ecuador. And and she would switch her accents depending on like what conqueror, like whatever colonizer was there at the moment. And like her speaking Spanish in a French accent was like mind-blowing. I had a rough time understanding her, but oh my god, it was so cool.
It's one of those where you're like, more. I can't get it.
It was incredible. It was so cool.
That's the sort of thing that's really exciting, that I think when you're hearing things like that, like I would love to see more of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
like
and
that.
let's not be
Acknowledgement, like we were
still-
talking earlier, just like there's more culture to Latin America than
Yeah.
than what Hollywood wants us to believe. Like
Yeah.
there's so
Yeah.
many more layers.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, you guys don't understand the Japanese influence in Chile. You don't understand,
Yeah, or the
The-
Chinese influence in Ecuador. Like
or the Chinese influence in
Yeah.
Ecuador. You don't understand the South Asian influence, you know, on the East Coast of South America,
yeah.
right? There's just so many. Unless you're indigenous to South America, unless your family, your background is as an indigenous or First Nations person, you're from somewhere else. And most of our ancestors had that, right? Like
Yeah.
had that sort of like we're speaking a language collectively because of where we are now, but not because of where we're from.
Yeah.
And I like to remember that. I think it's an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
When
Definitely.
we talked about music a few minutes ago, I shared something odd, and people who, when I hear music by myself, you will see like, what the heck funny playlist is this? Because it has so many anime openings, and I always say, at first I kind of tired of reggaeton, or the urban in Spanish. I'm still tired already. It's too much. I need something new. Go back to the old
Well,
romance.
reggaeton's the same beat, right? It's the same
Yeah.
beat, and then you put
And
something
auto-tune.
different over it.
I
Yeah.
think they made it illegal for a little while in Honduras to play reggaeton. Like, like you couldn't play it on the street or something.
Well,
Like it was
wasn't that
literally
something-
illegal.
Wasn't that something like not great related? It wasn't like we don't like reggaeton, it's overplayed. Wasn't that like something bad? Like it was
I don't
associated?
Well, I don't remember.
Or were they just like too much? No
I
mas.
don't remember. I think it was like this is encouraging bad behavior in the streets or something
Okay.
like that.
Yeah,
You're
they're trying
rock
to
and roll
put
music.
Too much was it called perriendo?
perreando.
No, wait, what?
Perreando?
Perreando, yeah. Too much perreando. Too much
Yeah,
humping
that's
in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
Niño, they're just doing sex with their clothes in the jeans on the disco. Oh my god, that's so bad. Good times
Yeah.
in the 90s when the reggaeton was del diablo. But yeah, so anime music, something I love about anime openings is the story. And I always say anime music so far, when you see the translation, there's a beautiful story behind it. And many times it goes beyond. And for me, when they do a original anime opening in English, I'm like, yes, because I understand. And it is different just because the culture and the story behind it. It's something I really miss on music today's day.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I mean, the poetry, the story, and the story to be told. Like in salsa, we have Panteón de Amor, for example. You guys know that one?
Mm-mm.
Panteón de Amor.
There it is. Sing it.
Panteón de Amor. It's telling a story about a guy that it started with a story that a guy was walking in the street and suddenly he just started digging in a grave.
A grave.
And over there,
Yeah.
he just let all his feelings and or brujeria or that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Ooh.
that's what it is today's day, the story and the music.
Yeah. What's lacking, I think, between cultures, especially in American music, is that it's really, really hard for people to be, it's so saturated and it's really hard for people to be like, to tell a new story. Like most of the stories are the same. They're love songs, they're breakup songs, they're like, you know what I mean? They're not very poetic. And so when somebody comes out with something that is poetic, it's everybody latches onto it because it's so good. But I think in other languages, poetry is first. Like poetry comes first.
Yeah, like whenever I think about like, because I do a lot of lyric adaptation from Japanese into English, and like the amount of words and like imagery that is offered in that realm, like just like every chorus will be different. You know what I mean? Like every chorus of the song will be new lyrics. It'll be the same melody, but it's new lyrics. And like American songs don't do that. Like we have the chorus and that stays the same every
And
time.
that's it. Yeah, that's
Done.
it.
And then sometimes they'll even repeat verses. You know what I mean? It'll be the same thing. But in Japanese music, it's like every verse, every chorus is different. All of them. Like,
That's also happening. Let me know if we need to jump to that topic. Don't want to get you in trouble. But with the movie industry, like I went with Kiara. We went to the movie theater this week, Monday, to watch a movie. And during the trailer, I like to go early to see all the trailers. I told Kiara, there have been 6 trailers. None of them is original. It's always a remake or something. Remake. Yeah, we're continuations. I'm like,
I will say that's going to change very soon.
please, I need it.
That is, it's turning sort of into a thing where they're making movies based on IP. Like, I know Mattel sold a bunch of their IP, so they're going to be original movies based on existing IP. I also believe, though, that there's a reckoning in Hollywood. We can see that with Snow White, in that they spent, 300,000 or 500,000 or a million, or not 1,000. How it's 500 million, like 500,000, 2 million, whatever. They're 246 million, right, to make Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or something like that. But I think Snow White was something like $600-something million, and it bombed. And a lot of the conversation is that these sort of remakes or movies that are based on a franchise aren't performing as well because people are kind of getting fatigued. They're getting like franchise fatigued. Also, it's very expensive to do something so many times over and over and over again. And so that you're going to see a lot more movies in the indie space. And they're still $1 million movies. Like Anora was a $6 million movie. But you're going to see movies in the indie space that are considered under $10 million is considered indie, that are original concept. And I think that those movies are going to perform better because they were cheaper to make. And people are hungry for original stories. But I think it's going to take a while for Hollywood to catch up to making those stories again. But I see it. I do, I keep a very close watch on these sort of trends or whatever, because obviously it's our career. But I do think that's going to change. Like, I have a feeling that after, whatever's in the pipeline now is that's probably going to be the last of that. And then they're going to kind of try to move into original IP.
I agree with you, Gio. I think you're right. Like, I just, because they have to. Like, I mean, at this point, it's like the industry is going to implode on itself. If they don't make some.
If they keep if they keep spending, $600 million. I mean, almost $1 billion, right, on these movies that are not performing.
It's crazy.
Well, as a side, like a personal, like growing up on animation, growing up on cartoons and everything, it really upset me that the second Joker movie, I think they were like, it cost X amount just to get
Lady Gaga,
it was X amount of money, and for all of that, all of WB Animation, they were like, get out of here, no one likes that. And everyone's like, please release these movies you made that like actors are saying this is phenomenal, and they're like, no, but you should go see Joker. And then it bombs, and they're like, all right, well, see, we were right about all animation. Like, what? No, that's not what this.
Yeah.
And they're like punishing other industries that are like genuinely still good and still trying and new and original, where they're like, we want to release a really cool, that Acme versus Coyote. I would give anything for that to come out, man. I've been chomping at the bit for that, but those are unfortunately where we're at now.
But just like you said earlier, Anthony, once the industry gets squeezed, enough people are going to have to innovate, and that's the innovation. That's what that's the next gen of entertainment. Yeah.
I mean, look what happened this week. Minecraft. Well, Minecraft is not original, but it's the first ever movie based on the game Minecraft. I went on a Monday night, 7 p.m. Monday, which is weird to the movie. It was full until Kara, what the heck's going on? Monday, 7 p.m. full the movie? Weird. When I got to the IMAX, I was Kara and we were the youngest one. I think we were like 5. We were all the same age. There was no kids. So I'm like, what's going on here?
Oh, wow.
I love it. Even though I didn't play Minecraft before, but social media gave me some hits like, hey, there's a pig with a crown. What the pig? And then when I hear the story about the pig with the crown, Blazer Edge, I cry and I'm like, oh God, that's beautiful. That's funny. I mean, did you guys know the story or Technoblade? Thank you.
Yes. there's a lot of, I think that's the other thing too. I think Giovanni touched on it earlier, where like people forget that the fans, like, they underestimate the fans so much and what they love and their intelligence and what they will accept when you try and really dig in. And when they say, we made the Minecraft movie for fans, it's for little kids to go and scream at, and like, it's their Rocky Horror. And that is engaging. That is new. That is something that doesn't exist right now. And you see a bunch of people like, stop doing that. That's different and fun. Like, they're kids. They're having, it's a movie. This isn't like Shakespeare. It's a Minecraft movie. Go have fun. And I think that's the other thing too, is people try and put everything in a blockbuster. You have to do this. You have to be art. You have to do that. And it's like, some things are popcorn. Some things are to shake off, so that way you can get the other juices flowing, you know? So
there's even some Shakespearean plays that are meant to be that, you know? Like, they're not meant to like make you overthink stuff. It's meant to be purely entertainment. There's value in things that are just entertaining. Like, we don't have to be preached to all the time. I'm gonna be preached to sometimes, not all the time.
Yeah. Sometimes I want brain candy. That's why I watch anime.
Yeah.
By the way,
I feel like the anime that I watch makes me, like, hurts my brain. It's too hard. It's too complicated. It's too layered.
Yeah. No, I watch the brain candy stuff. I'm like, I binged recently. I binged the honey lemon soda because there's nothing to it. It's just a cute little anime.
So good.
And I just was like, oh, brain candy, brain candy, brain candy.
By the way, do you guys know the story of Technoblade, of Minecraft, the movie?
No, I haven't watched it.
It's not a spoiler. I can tell you because it is not a spoiler. You're going to see you watch it, you're going to see a pig with a crown, and you see Jack. They make it like, he's like a king. I'm like, no, he's a legend. You will not get it first time. The story behind that, and this is what really made the movie beautiful, and it was make it so important. When Minecraft started early in the day, there was this kid who decided to start doing Minecraft video on YouTube when YouTube was new. He became popular because he was one of the first YouTubers playing Minecraft, and he was very into Minecraft. He got popular. He became very badass player, famous. Even Mr. Beast episode in, and he was famous. Suddenly, he disappeared from YouTube. And months later, he announced that he had cancer. So he announced that very bad cancer, very weird. They decided to do from now on, the revenue from the YouTube is going to go to this research institution for that type of cancer. Sadly, in 2022, he passed away. And his quote always was like, Technoblade never dies. And they were like, Technoblade never dies. So people in the community and were very impacted by that. They start doing reference to Technoblade. Technoblade never dies. So bad that they make on Minecraft Easter eggs that you have his status or so that he appear and Technoblade never dies. And then to make it more chill, his dad, last video on his channel was his dad reading the last letter that he left for the fan because it was anonymous. He never showed his identity. So it's a very sad story, heart moving. I was like, so they added that reference, and that's why when they see the pig with the crown, you see the main character like, is the pig a king? Like, no, he's a legend, and like, he's a real legend.
That's so sweet.
That's cool. I love it when they pull in things like that's what I mean when make it for the fans. First time I saw the new Muppet movie when they remade it, when Jason Segel did that to me was one of the most inspiring, where it's like my inner child just like emerged and was like, we can do this. And I feel like when those movies are made, that's what makes me want to go out in the world and create content and pull people in, where it's like, that's what you want. You want to create that fun community, that experience, because that's what art is. It's you also taking part, even though you're just the viewer. You are the, there. It's how do we bring you in more of this, that you're just not staring at a screen being like, yeah, I experienced that. No, it needs to get in your DNA. So that's cool. I love stories like that.
Yeah, that's so good.
Just watch it. You're going to enjoy it, and you might cry. You go to YouTube. Even YouTube have a briefing what's the story behind Technoblade Never Dies. And I was on the train 2 days ago. I was just crying from here to Virginia to DC. And I was, oh my god! And also, I told my brother he's 2 years younger than me. I didn't know he played Minecraft, so I told, oh yes, you came back from the movie. It was great. I'm like, oh, so you saw the reference to Technoblade? I'm like, wait, do you know about him? Like, I cry so much when it happened when he dies. And I'm like, wait, you knew about it? Like, yeah, I knew about Minecraft, and we all cry. So it's a true story here. So wait, let me do some time check because we got excited here.
Oh baby, we got like 2 minutes.
Wrap it up quick. Tell what will be if you have to make a new character based on bilingual 2 language. How will be that character? Like what he will be doing? How would you describe that character? Let's start with Giovannie. That she's ready.
Okay, I have a character who okay. Picture this. My character is a young woman who owns a panaderia. And during the day, she sells foods like empanadas and maybe some arroz con gandules and like just, traditional Puerto Rican food. And she loves feeding people. And she realizes when she feeds people that she gets mana from them eating and enjoying her food. And then she takes her superpowers and she fights like the bad guys, like the people that are like harming her island, right? Like harming her people. But she doesn't realize that when the people eat her food and she gets their mana, that she's kind of like energy vampiring them. So she has to question whether it's worth it for her to fight evil if it means basically sucking the life from the people that's enjoying her food. That's my anime character.
You just made it up right now. Or
no,
you
I
have
thought
it in your
about
back
this.
pocket? Okay.
I thought about this last night because I saw his questions, and so I was like, "Oh, I know. I have a woman who is like an energy vampire, but like fights crime. But then like it's complex, right? Because like it's an ethical quandary. Like, do I keep fighting evil, or am I harming these people that like love my food?
And then you have the good food in it, which is always.
And then
everyone loves
because everybody loves good food.
Good food, and then you can show like the close-ups of it, like that.
Yeah, and then honestly, any opportunity. You know what? Look, I think I grew up in Texas. Everybody knows Tex-Mex as food, and everybody knows like Cuban food, right? They know like a cubano and a medianoche and this and that. But I don't think Puerto Rican food gets enough credit. I don't think Puerto Rican food gets enough credit. I think Puerto Rican food needs to get more credit.
I keep saying Puerto Rico is wasting, the government of Puerto Rico, they waste a big opportunity. Puerto Rico should be a gastronomic touristic point. But I'm not a politician, but yeah, they're wasting the opportunity. Should we start a recording so we can just copyright? I mean, so you can file that like owns of the rights and make that story a movie?
I am up. It's up. Everything's up for negotiation. Okay. My people, you can have your people call my people, we'll discuss.
Wow.
Who wants to be next, Brina or Anthony?
I'll go because Anthony's better at improvising than I am. I didn't
read any questions or prepare.
I didn't do any homework.
I didn't do my
people
homework.
Hire me.
I have a cat. It's gonna be a cat. Is the character? It's gonna be a cat, and she lives in a pulperia. Do you guys have pulperias, or is that just a Honduran thing?
Pulpo for us is like it's octopus.
Right.
Pulpo is also octopus, but pulperia is like it's like a little shack where you get groceries. So it's like where you can get your milk and like some chips. It's
so
like
the Puerto Rican equivalent
of
like a bodega.
Yeah,
yes,
like a bodega.
Yes, it's like a bodega, but pulperia. So it's a cat that lives in a pulperia and I don't know, befriends a child and they go on adventures together. There's mine.
That's a good, wow. Original good in another world with my pulperia.
Yeah, in mi pulperia.
Just put in another world in front of anything works.
Yeah,
for anime.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to make.
You know, scared me for a second because at first and I hear that word pulperia and I was using the T instead of a P. So I was like, wait, what?
No,
I'm
pulperia.
I was kind of worried, like, okay, what is a pulperia? Even I'm worried about what it really may mean. Instead of the second P, in vez of pulperia, there was a T instead of a P. I'm worried about it. Let me, what is pulperia?
She said pulperia, and I was like, an octopus shop?
Yeah. Don't you like
That
it?
makes
Don't you guys
sense.
have that here?
A cat in an octopus shop?
I mean,
Okay.
I mean, that'd be a very happy cat.
Okay, well, Anthony.
I've always, this isn't original, but I've always had an obsession. There used to be a cartoon way back in the day, Hanna-Barbera did it, and it was the adventures of Don Quixote and Sancho Panda. And it was like it was Don Quixote, but he was a coyote, and Sancho Panda was this little like panda bear riding on a burro. But I've always loved that. Like, I would want that idea to turn into a like Disney movie. I would love to do like a Mexican Robin Hood, basically. Like, I would love to do something like that in the world of like with the kind of like folklore tales and things like that. Like, I would love to have an anime character that is like explores that world and like runs into these like folklore characters and things like that. That would be
That'd be fun.
like, I don't know what it would be, but it's that nice little buddy kind of like exploring that world.
Mm-hmm.
Flash
That would be
question.
mine.
Because nobody said the name of your character.
Pulperia.
The name
Oh,
of the
the
character.
name?
That's the name of my
Oh.
character.
I don't know. Name my character.
No, that's up to you. It's flash question. I mean,
Hey, mine is. This is easy. Mine's catracha. Get it?
No,
Catracha.
No.
Well, catracha is like a word for Honduran.
no one likes it. No one likes what you said. Make it
And they're a
cuter.
cat, which is in English. Get it? Catracha. Get it?
Yeah,
Ostras.
all of our Honduran fans are all typing in right now. They love it.
Yeah.
They're all like,
Yeah.
commenting. They all love
Blowing
it right
up.
now. It's blowing
Blowing
up.
up.
On mis catrachos.
It's blowing up.
Brina's
I don't know,
got
I'm-
that-
I don't know. I feel like mine would be like el chef. Like something Spanglicized.
Yes, chef.
Or I don't know. What's the female version for a chef?
Chef. No, I'm missing.
That's not real.
I know. Well,
Don't
get
be
a
making
name.
up words, Onyx.
It is.
Call
now.
it-
You know what? Let me just pull it up in Chat GPT for, I'll just, let me just write my
Oh.
prompt.
Yeah.
And put it in Chat GPT and let Chat GPT tell me what it thinks.
Yeah.
I don't
Her
know.
name
We'll
is
figure it out.
Taco Jones. What? Oh, Chat GPT. How dare you?
Yeah, empanada mama.
Empa Mama.
Empamama. Mama empamama. I don't know.
Yeah, that in Puerto Rico.
Mana empamama.
You know that in Puerto Rico tend to fly the wrong direction, right?
What?
You know that in Puerto Rico that name is going to fly in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go-
Yeah. Well,
Taking everything on the wrong side.
you know what, Onyx? It'll get a lot of play.
It will.
They'll be
I mean-
like, what is this? And then they'll be like, oh, it's a show about a quandary.
But then they'll
About an
get
ethical
drawn in.
quandary.
And then they'll
Uh-huh.
keep watching.
At
Right.
least for sure,
It's the
it's gonna-
old bait and switch.
I think it will be guaranteed to make it to a reggaeton video for sure. So, anyway, guys, thank you so much. It's been a wonderful night. First time, I feel like I can't believe just 1 hour. We fly so.
That actually went by really fast.
Yeah. Did we help
Really
anyone? Really? We said a couple things that were
No.
helpful, but mainly we talked about
AI
food.
bad. That's all we had to say.
Yeah. True.
AI bad.
Yeah.
And
Speak
I love
Spanish.
and from the script, we only did like 5% of the script. To the fans, the people who comment, thank you so much sorry for not putting your question. There's a few questions we left behind because it was so good, the conversation.
Is there one more that we can do? One more question?
question.
Yeah. One
Okay.
more question.
Okay.
One more question.
There's
Weirdest
one-
encounter you've ever had with a fan?
Or this one? The one that you choose.
Same thing. Brina's a real big fan of mine, and it was really embarrassing. She was in the booth. So it's the same moment. She was just like, Mr.
Oh,
Bowling.
wait. Okay. Maybe. So I. Okay. Hold on. How do I tell this story?
Very delicately.
I think I had a weird realization, or it was some. Okay. Hold on. Okay. So. I found out recently that David Destamulchin is a really, really big Black Butler fan. And
Oh.
yeah, and like we have the same booking agent for like conventions and stuff, and he had told me that, and I was like, yeah, right. Sure. And so he would be like, can you sign this for David? And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course. Because I'm just like, I just assumed he was making it up. But then he like, because he got on the live action of One Piece.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, since you're Chopper, not in the live action, just in the anime, but like, since you're Chopper, you should give him a video. Will you make a video welcoming him to the crew or whatever? And I was like, sure. I can't imagine he will care in any way, but sure. And so I just did like a quick, like, do your best, like in the Chopper voice. And then he sent a video back to me being like, oh my God, that was the coolest thing. Thank you so much. It was really sweet. And I was like, oh my God.
He's a huge, like,
actually is a fan.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy too.
Yeah,
Like,
you worked with him, right?
I worked with him,
Yeah.
yeah. And he's a really nice guy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
And
yeah,
that tracks. That totally tracks. Anything that's like Edward Gorey, 18, yeah, sort of Victorian goth guy. Yeah, that's very David.
I also like him because he said, like, okay, who was one of the top 3 people you'd want to work with? And he's like, the Muppets. The Muppets. So it's like, dude, you're my guy. Like, I love people like that who have those like broad interests, and he seems like one of those that's very genuine about what he loves and puts that love into his performances, which we should all do.
Yes.
We should all be a Destamulchin.
Anthony, your question. I know you're already in the spot.
No. What's the question? Funniest blooper? Man,
Or this one.
It's this. Weirdest encounter with a fan. I will say that when I do cons, my favorite is when people will walk in. I would be doing a panel and be like, hi, let me tell you about directing. I did have a girl walk in, a younger girl, and she looked at me and I was like, hi, welcome. And she goes, who are you? And I go, oh, I'm Anthony Bowling. I'm a director. And she goes, oh, and turns around and leaves.
Also, clearly not a fan doesn't apply. Pick another story, Anthony.
Oh no! Oh God!
Pick
he
another
was a
story.
fan of somebody, just not Anthony.
It's not me.
Right. That was an anti-fan story. I actually don't have any stories. I don't know that I've ever met any fans other than Brina, who's a big fan of mine.
I am. I was going to say, I'm literally your biggest fan.
But I don't do conventions. And honestly, I don't know that I have. I'm always cutting up in the booth. I am always cutting up in the booth. So I don't know that I have a funniest blooper. We're just like, I get in trouble for cutting up too hard in the booth. And then we have like 10 minutes to get through like 5 or 7 cues, and some of them are very complex. And so I can't answer either of those questions except to say that I get in a lot of trouble because I don't take anything seriously.
Yeah. We also, to be fair, we get in trouble now when we do bloopers. They don't like it when we do them, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
However, getting class, she just did a video with the guy from Solo Leveling, like blooper with
Alex. Yeah,
that was epic.
I'm amazed they let
those
her
are like
do that.
approved. Yeah, I think those are kind of like she's also like, I think it's one of those where it's like, what are you gonna do?
She's royalty. We bow down.
Yeah.
To Caitlyn.
She's one of
She's royalty. All hail Queen Caitlyn.
She's one of the chosen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole video of Black Butler outtakes that's actually really funny. Like, if you want to hear my funniest outtakes, it's in that. That might be the most watched video of anything I've ever done. I think it has like over 1 million views on it.
Anthony, so you don't feel that bad. this week I did something just like that. I was the girl this week at work. I'm tired, having a hard day, and I see this guy in the elevator that comes running on a very nice suit. So he asked me something. So we start chatting. Nice to meet you, Onyx. So where do you work with this group? Like, oh yeah, this work too. And so he say, I'm the vice president of the group, and I'm like, and he stepped out of the elevator. He like, I'm just, and I'm like, I'm Onyx. I'm just an engineer. So I still made you like, and then I'm like, I just told a VP of the group that I'm just a plain engineer. So yeah, but I was tired. I was just not in the mood. It was.
It made you come off as humble. That's why you were like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
an engineer.
Yeah.
Maybe he thought that you like really like trains. Like I'm just an engineer.
There's people who like to. I mean, they tell you need to sell yourself. And that's exactly what I didn't say. I didn't do. I didn't say. I mean, whatever.
Yeah, but sometimes that can be refreshing.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I wasn't there. Onyx, you effed up, man. Sorry.
I mean, that's what it feels like. I just told my manager, do you need this person? Oh my God. So I just told this person just a engineer. That's it. She and look at me like, wait, you did what? Like, it just happened. Wasn't planning. And he asked you can say he knows Onyx. You guys are just an engineer. So anyway. But anyway,
Life happens, and then you die.
Thank you. And on that note, thank you everyone.
thank
We're
you
all
so
gonna die. Have a
We're all
good
gonna
night.
die.
Yay!
See you guys
This
in
is
the
why I'm
next.
your biggest fan, Giovanni.
We will not. At least we will not be dead for the next live. So thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next live. Sayonara.
Adios.